Good morning, Brian Blackwelder here with Blackwelder Pump and Irrigation out of DeLand, Florida. Want to go over some things this morning, some common folklore. We get calls all the time. My well's dried up, my pump burned up. And I can appreciate everybody's personal diagnosis to things, but a lot of times problems aren't quite as big as they seem. One of the big things we get a lot is my well's dried up. My well doesn't work anymore, it's dried up, doesn't pump water. These two pumps you see in front of me here today are two different pumps, but they pump similarly. This is what we call a shallow well jet pump, which has a single inlet, single outlet. It usually pulls out of a well where the water table is under 20 feet. This is a centrifugal. It's a sprinkler pump. If you notice, it doesn't have the pressure switch apparatus this does. This is generally what you'll see on a sprinkler supply where a shallow well is in place or where the water table is really high. This would be a check valve. This is a brass check valve that very similar to the ones we use. This we consider a submersible check valve because it's a male-female. They also make it in a female-female version. I did this one just because of the pure size, and you can see what we're talking about. So when we hear people say my well's dried up, it doesn't pump water anymore. A lot of times what we find are plumbing issues. We find fittings that have been done by homeowners or done by companies that just really didn't do the right job. All it takes is a simple air leak or crack in a line or a suction leak between the head of the pump and where the water's being pulled out of the well. And all it takes is that little bitty air leak that you'll never see. You'll never see water drip around the fittings. You'll never see it, but it won't pump water. The other item that happens is these check valves. If it's sat for a little bit of time or a little bit of duration, these check valves, the poppet inside will actually stick open and it won't allow the water to hold correctly. This unit would go in line from the pump down to the well. The poppet is actually what holds the water in what we consider the prime between the water level in the well and the pump head itself. All it takes is a suction leak, a piece of debris or a worn check valve inside, and these units will not pump. So don't always believe the hype when you hear somebody tell you the well's dried up. We see about 1 out of every 1,000 wells that actually dry up. They might develop less water because of a clogged screen or a clogged well screen. They might not pull water because of a cracked fitting or a suction leak. Don't just believe that you need to throw another pump on there just because your well's not pumping water. A lot of times it can be a very simple fix. Usually a check valve replacement like this, by the time we're done, runs a few $100 with the labor and everything, and that gives you another, 5, 7, 10 years of use pretty easily. We endorse using bronze or brass check valves. We most to never use PVC check valves. We don't believe in them, we don't trust them, and we see a ton of failures in them. They're a cheap option, but a cheap option isn't always the quality option. As you can see, this is a brand new pump. We use a lot of Pentair product, Gould's product, F&W. We work on pretty much all brands. This pump here is a used Pentair product. This is more what you would see for a house water or water to air application. One, because it builds higher pressure than these do. And we can get into that at another time, but each pump has a specific function, a specific use. That one size fits all thing doesn't apply when it comes to well pumps or water pumps. But again, if a contractor's telling you your well's dried up or that your well dried up and it caused your pump to burn out, you may want to ask for a second opinion. I can't even remember the last time we told a customer their well was dried up. Wells collapse, generally if they were intruding sand or something like that, but be careful. There's a lot of people out there doing work that are not the right company or they're trying to do something that's outside of their window. Most of your good companies are going to give you solutions, not just throw parts at it. We do a lot of gas pumping on wells. We have gasoline driven centrifugals where we'll hook them up directly to the well, and the first thing we do, we'll go to that well and pump that well off with a gasoline driven pump to make sure that it's pumping water and make sure the well's developing before we ever think about throwing a pump on or spending your hard-earned money on something. We want to make sure we have the problem addressed. So just be careful out there. Make sure you're getting the right answers from the right company. If you need us, feel free to call. We're happy to give you a second opinion or a first opinion for that matter. You can reach us out of the Daytona Beach area at 386-253-5177. Local in DeLand or Lake County at 386-738-5338. And we work in an area pretty much from Palm Coast all the way down to Oak Hill, Mims, back out into Leesburg, Eustis, and south into Seminole County, Longwood, all of that area. So if we can help you, give us a call. We have somebody standing by 24/7 to answer your phone call 365 days a year. No reason to wait around without water. We're here to help. Thank you, guys.